Well, hi there, friends. Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and Arloth and I are here today to talk to you about a book that we just recently read that we absolutely loved, and we can't wait to share it with you as well. So this book is really special because I may not have picked it up if it weren't for who the author was. And actually, that's kind of a little bit of a neat thing because I wasn't even aware of who this author was until a few months ago. Because you see, this author actually wrote one of the books that we used for the Battle of the Books this year, which is A Wish in the Dark. And I just fell in love with that book so much that when I saw that there was a new book that they had out, I just jumped on it right away and couldn't wait to read it. And because of that, I discovered an amazing story, wonderful characters, and I'm just so excited about that. So what book is that? What author am I talking about? This book is called The Last Mapmaker, and it's by Christina Soontornvat, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, but Christina Soontornvat. And she also wrote, like I said, she wrote the book A Wish in the Dark, which is another really amazing fantasy story. So I read that one first. They're not connected, they're completely standalone stories, but I may not have picked this one up if it hadn't been for already loving that other one. So I don't want you to miss this book. I want you guys to read it because it's absolutely phenomenal. So what is this about? Well, obviously it's about a mapmaker, right? So the main character is a girl named Sai, and she is an apprentice to one of the best mapmakers in the city that she lives in. And this is a really big status thing because he is really well renowned. He's done a lot of really important work, and she is his apprentice. Only there's one little tiny problem. So she's kind of faking her identity. So she's pretending that she has this really great family at her back and that they're a little bit more higher up in terms of status and wealth than she really is. Her father is actually a con man and lives in like the slums of the part of the city, and that's where she is from as well. And she has to hide this not only from her mapmaker, who she's working for, Pei-yun, but she also has to hide it from her father because she knows that if her father knows she's working for somebody like this, he's going to try to use her to blackmail him or steal things from his shop and do all kinds of nefarious things. So she's kind of living a double life where she goes to work with this mapmaker every day and then she goes home to the slums and has to just hide both of these things. So all this changes when she discovers that the queen has sent out this edict that she wants all these ships to go out and look for this place called the Sunderlands. And this is a place that's kind of like off the maps and doesn't technically exist. Nobody's really discovered it before. Nobody really thinks it's real. It kind of sounds like a fairy tale. But the queen believes in it, and she is paying everybody to go out on these ships. Well, who she works for, Pei-yun, discovers that he is going on one of these ships, and he invites her with him. So this is a chance to leave all her past behind, to go on this sea voyage with her employer to try to find this magical land that may or may not exist. So as you can imagine, and you could probably tell from the cover, this is mostly a sea adventure story. So it happens on the ocean. It's really cool. There is also a map in the beginning, which is really nice, which charts mostly the oceans that they are traveling through. There's not a whole lot of land. The adventure, most of it takes place in the water. I really liked Sai. I thought she was a great character. I loved how she was just so willing to basically do anything she possibly could to keep herself afloat. And I love characters like that, scrappy characters who will just do anything they have to. And she was really great because it was really great to watch her grow because, she's obsessed with status and heritage throughout most of the book because she doesn't have it and she's trying to get it. But then by the end, she realizes the things that are really important versus, what's not important. So her character growth was really cool as well. The other thing that I loved about this book so much, and I don't know that I've read about this, at least recently in a book for this young audience, was that it really delves into the issue of colonization. What? I know that seems like a heavy notion for a kid's book, but it's really not, because they do it in such a way that it's just absolutely fantastic. So there's a couple different stops that they make on this voyage to these different ports that have already been discovered by their kingdom and have been, you know, assimilated and taken into the kingdom. And Sai is, you know, confused because Payun seems kind of upset about this. When they stop at this one place, it's kind of all just this mud hovel and all the trees are gone and, you know, the people are despondent and she can't really understand what's going on. But then Payun tells her, and I just want to read this tiny little passage just so you have an idea of some of the really cool things that are talked about in this book. Payun's face was a stone. I was on one of the first ships to arrive here, but people have lived here for thousands of years. I made a map of it, that's all. Oh, of course. Sorry, sir. He sighed heavily. I know that's how everyone talks, Sai. I talked that way once, too. Our queen is sending ships out in every direction to discover new places. I'll put money on it that every place our ships land was already discovered long ago, just not by us. That won't stop us from planting our flags there, of course. A growing kingdom needs lumber, materials, food. Why pay for it when you can claim it and call it your own? He waved his hand at the dingy harbor. Look at this. They surrendered, and we still took everything they had, down to the stumps. He held still for a moment and then turned to me. What do you think of all that? Isn't that so cool? So it really talks about a lot of different colonization aspects and the evils of it, which you can absolutely draw parallels to a lot of different cultures and groups, and especially Native Americans in our own country, right? The indigenous people, that land was stolen from them. So this is a really, and I was just not expecting that to come up at all in this book, and it did a couple times, and I was really happy with the way that they handled it and thought it was fantastic. So for that and for all the other reasons I talked about, this book is phenomenal. Highly recommend it. The writing is fantastic. The characters are great, and there might be a dragon or two in it. I don't know. You'll have to read it and find out. Maybe. Yep. The Last Mapmaker. So that's what I've got for you guys today, and I hope that you're just as excited about this book as I was. If so, please feel free to come check it out from Farmington Community Library. And thanks so much for watching, and please give this video a like. Have a great day.